welcome back to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott. And greetings, blessings, salutations, and love. Once again, welcome back to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott, and I'm excited again today. Sunday Chats with Jack. From me to you, thank you to all who may tune in and join, whether it's in the live stream or the restream or the later date. And if you do tune in later, I encourage you speed me up. The messages are the same. May blessings and joy be found through us all today. Sincerely. Praise God. Today, give thanks unto the Lord. That's the message I hope to share, the idea of Salvation Sunday. Psalm. Oh, come, let us sing unto the Lord. Let us make a joyful noise to the rock of our salvation. I went to church this morning and, I was moved to tears from the praise and the joy. It was beautiful. And some of the thoughts I considered about this idea of salvation and God and love. Shame is what destroys a man or a woman. Guilt and shame, oh my God, those are miserable. Shame can only be made or discovered within the ego, within the egoic, the selfish. See, faith, I've learned this from experience, man. Faith is a strength only you are the only one who can find your faith, develop your faith, prove your faith to yourself. You're the only one. So I encourage you, I invite you, surrender into the present, the life you are living, and be at peace with all that is. Be at peace with all that ever was, and be at peace with all that may become. For all that was has revealed you into who you are today. And brothers and sisters, we are so fortunate to live today. Surrender to the life you are living and consciously invite in the Holy Spirit of love. Believe in love. Only you can believe in love. Only you can believe in your doubts. Only you can believe in your problems. Only you can do what you want to do. But I invite you, test yourself, challenge yourself, give yourself permission and try it out. Believe that God's love for you. I hope to share what I feel inside of me with anyone who has ears to hear and, has the willingness to listen. Because truly, brothers and sisters, there's a reason the Bible has been passed down to us through the traditions and through time. There's wisdom that is eternally present, and our God is doing everything. A couple of the things I wanted to bring up. Salvation from self-sabotage. I've mentioned it to people I care about, people I've met online. I'm seeing signs that appear to be some self-sabotaging tendencies, some patterns of ideas and behavior that aren't real healthy. I used to do that as an alcoholic. I know how damaging we can be to ourselves. When we edge God out, that's what the ego does, the egoic. They don't think about God. They think about themselves, right? We all know the egoic and the selfish. We know the type. Donald Trump, Elon Musk, I'm calling you guys out, all right? You're the egoic, selfish fools who I'm talking about. Praise God. I love them. I love you. I no longer edge God out. What is God? God is the unity. God is the truth. I don't edge out the truth. I don't edge out unity. Not anymore. I've learned my lessons. We are one time of history, that through the divine creation, the forces of nature, Mother Earth, and all that she sustains, anywhere I go, I was thinking about this earlier, anywhere I go, and I've been all over, I've flown, Mother Earth has always been there for me. Every day of my life, Mother Earth has been with me. She's not always kind sometimes. Sometimes it gets a little bitter cold and a little, unsettling, but praise God. And not only has Mother Earth always been with me, I finally accepted what was outlined and told in the Bible. I finally accepted that. The Heavenly Father is with me always. I need not worry. I need not fear. I need not understand all the details. I just need to trust. And I encourage you, look at your own levels of trust. Look at your own levels of faith. You deserve to feel peace. If you're listening to me, I trust in this, okay? Because there's divine powers, divine forces that move us through every day. Whether we realize it or not, whether we understand it or not, it's true. Our body is the vessel of life and experience. And so those divine forces, the divine spirit that's within you, the divine spirit that's moving me, brought us together again today. So let's just breathe and be. Be together within yourself. Be whole. Be unified with all that you know. I didn't link it or pull it up today, but I watched another of Aaron Abke's videos. Maybe I'll pull it up and put it in the description later. But it was another lesson in the Course of Miracles, and some of these reminders came from this: the practice of the saintly, the practice of the monks and the devotees. The practice is to know, I need to do nothing. There is nothing I need to do. There is nothing I have to do. I need do nothing. God's power? God's power accomplishes way more than I ever could. God accomplishes it all. So if I need to do nothing and God's power accomplishes more than me, peace is accepting this. Wisdom is knowing this. I thought that was beautiful, man. I'm going to go ahead and we'll drop the link. I'm just in the flow today. It's Sunday afternoon. I feel good despite what the algorithms are doing. I mean, apparently we lost like more subscribers. So for those who have been with the Talcott lore, and there's rumors of Moose making investments and growing his subscribers, it looks like his investments are falling off maybe. I don't know what's going on. Either that or more people are getting triggered by me. But for those who are present, want to join, feel free. We'll hang out for a little bit, discuss some things. I've got some ideas depending on who might arrive. But this topic is important. It's important to me because what I see happening in this world right now is self-sabotage. Mankind is literally at war with mankind. Mankind is literally at war against nature. What is natural? Mankind is literally out of our minds collectively with delusions. I'm going to point to the politics as evidence of my words. The masses are delusional for placing selfish liars by choice, by willingness, by financial investment, time and energy investment. A lot of people were committed to helping place Donald Trump into office again. And he failed the last time he was there. I know a lot of people think he saved the day, but guess what? You were lied to. So was I. We've been lied to our whole lives. And if you don't have God in your heart, God in your mind, you might be lying to yourself still. The words of Jesus, they're words of love. Love is the way to live. Love is God's will for us. Wonderful. I am actually grateful for this opportunity. Welcome back, Chuck.
Yes, sir. I came up to see what you might be able to teach me.
I'd love to discover that myself. Thank you, Chuck. I actually had thoughts earlier of unblocking you from the chat as a gesture of trust and
Well, I am a member. I mean, I just try to support you somewhat, even
that
though
is
we don't, even though we don't agree on some things.
well, the only thing we don't agree with is your opinions of me, dude.
So it's a two-way street, but I'm open. I'm open to learn.
Okay, I know you keep returning to that. Anything I say, you want to bounce it back and say, "Yeah, Jack, that's you." So,
That's not what I just said. Said I'm
Chuck,
here to try to learn.
Chuck, please
Hmm.
pay attention to what I'm saying and don't here. Let's be at peace. Okay? Our disagreement, Chuck, has been your narratives of me. Yesterday on my live stream, you presented the case of why you believed Jack is delusional.
Okay.
Do you remember that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Not to jump digital denizen, you're right. I understand that. But I'm being blamed for I'm being misunderstood. So here, back to what you shared yesterday, Chuck. When I asked you asked me why I believed what I was saying to you was true about the ego and such. And I told you based upon my education and experience. And so then you counter back with, what about my education and my experience that says you're delusional? So we didn't get into the definitions. Let's define what is delusional to you, Chuck. You described the case, you know,
Out of touch with reality.
okay. And well, okay, so reality.
Everyday living, everyday circumstances
Okay.
is reality. From the time
Okay.
you wake up to the time you go to sleep is reality.
No disagreement there. So you're presenting the case to me that delusional is not living in reality. What would cause someone to not be in reality, Chuck?
I don't know. Could be mental illness. It could be not being able to see the truth for what it is. For not wanting to participate in that thing we call reality.
Well, that's clearly open to debate because I'm
True.
sitting here 7 days a week talking about love of God, love of Jesus, becoming better human beings. So, Chuck, I know you, here's the deal. Only you can be honest for you.
Yeah.
And what I'm trying to get you to consider, here's my definition of delusional. I've shared it before. It's similar to yours. It's those who believe in lies. They believe in false narratives. Do you know what a false narrative is, Chuck?
Sure.
How would you describe a false narrative?
Let's see, a false narrative. Let me think about that a second. It would be that, uh, let me think on that. Try to narrow it down.
I've given it quite a bit of thought, and it's what I said.
Well, give
A
me your
false,
answer.
a false narrative is a lie.
Only if the person knows it's wrong, it's a lie. If they don't know it's wrong, then it's not a lie.
Ah, okay. That's partially true. Now, where is the responsibility of the individual in choosing what they look at, right? And here's what let me try and develop this a little more, okay?
Sure,
So a false
sure.
narrative will take facts from reality. It'll take the facts that are objectively real and true, and then it'll tell a story about those facts. It'll come to a conclusion about things.
And that's what facts do, yes.
Well, that's what the mind does, Chuck. The mind creates these narratives, tells these stories about what the facts mean. Chuck, your identification of Jack is delusional.
How so?
You are, that is you. You are delusional, Chuck.
No,
You believe,
explain it to me. Why am I delusional?
well, number one, you're projecting on me as being anti-Christ.
I hadn't said that in quite a while, Jack. I quit saying that. You
I'm
asked me to
grateful
quit,
for
so
that.
I quit.
Oh, okay. I'm grateful you finally stopped lying in that regard. Now let's go back to the delusional. See, I allege you are not living in reality.
Okay, how so? Break
There's
it
many,
down
many
for me.
ways. Well, you've shown many, many beliefs. You believe in the government. You believe in,
Well, the Bible does say that he put government on earth for a reason,
yep.
and we are to follow what they tell us.
Is that what Jesus said? Or is that what
Uh,
Paul said?
I'd have to go look it up. I'm not close to
I'm
my Bible at the moment.
Hey, Chuck, admittedly, I'm no expert, but I'm pretty certain those were words from Paul, not Jesus. So I could
I
be
could
wrong.
be wrong. Yeah, I
Well,
could be wrong.
here's the other part. Why does God provide us anything? Why does God allow us anything? Why does God
Free
allow
will. Free will
God's free
is
will allows it all? Yeah.
no. God gave us free will, not
Okay.
his free will.
Okay. I was asking why God gives us government because I point to that's part of your delusion, Chuck.
Well,
God,
if parts of the Bible are true, then either the whole Bible is true or it's not.
well, Chuck, false narratives include truth. Everything can be true. It's a matter of finding the truth. Okay? So,
And trust me, earnestly, I'm trying to seek a common ground with you, Jack. I
I don't
truly
feel
am.
that. I don't feel that. I don't think you're as honest as you claim to be, Chuck. But we're getting there, and I appreciate that you're here. And Noel, I saw you in the back. Chuck and I have had an ongoing thing, and so this is
For a little while, yeah.
yeah. Jeeps. Okay, Jack, without government, you'd be on the streets right now. No lie. So what? Actually, let me correct that. Jeeps, without God, I'd be out on the streets right now. God did use the government shutdown, um, the pandemic and the government reactions to the virus actually canceled the sale of my home a couple of times. And so, yeah, it is by God's grace and the use of the government that's out there. People sure as fuck didn't help me.
And
But
why is that?
well, that's they'll explain when they're ready.
I mean, didn't you go to the ACLU or whatever it was to help you last time? Didn't they help you with
No.
the house?
Oh, yes, there was that
I don't
wasn't
know
in.
what the organization was called, but it was some
Okay,
sort of.
yes, yes. God allowed me to discover a nonprofit agency that did assist me with some of the bureaucracy bullshit I had to deal with, and keeping me going. But I really don't understand your point. Here's what I'm trying to get at. Okay, despite the fact that the government might have been allowed in the Bible 2,000 years ago. And yeah, guess what? The governments have changed, haven't they? We today have rights that were not afforded the common man 2,000 years ago in America. Let's wake the fuck up to what our rights are and why this government even exists.
Without this government, you wouldn't have any of them rights.
You are deceived. Fucking A, Chuck.
How am I
You
deceived?
You call yourself a Christian and you give the power to the government.
Hi.
Welcome, Noel. Thank you for your patience. How
Welcome.
have you been, my friend?
Good. How are you?
I'm feeling blessed. I truly am.
I need more people to come up here.
Well, Chuck was here, but he wants to believe that the government is more powerful than God.
How? How, Chuck?
Well, yeah, Chuck, you think your rights come from government?
I didn't say government was more powerful than God.
You think where do rights come from, Chuck? What did you just say?
But according to the Constitution, they said they were derived from God.
And what is your
Does
point?
Well, there's a system in place to ensure that we have those rights. I'm not saying they're perfect. By
Chuck,
by a
Chuck,
far stretch,
hey, Chuck,
government is not perfect.
I know. You accept. Ooh, actually, thank you. Welcome, Denizen. How are you, brother?
Cute
Pretty
kitty.
good.
What you reminded me of, the government's not perfect. Okay? We know that. People aren't perfect. Well,
Correct.
so what? It doesn't mean that we have to accept this bullshit. Okay? Funding the genocide and the murder of innocent men and women happening in Ukraine and Palestine being funded by every single tax-paying American right now. Okay? Peace is the purpose, Chuck. I live to follow God's will for me, Chuck. I don't need your approval. I sure don't need your bastardization and misrepresentation of me and what I'm doing. And Chuck, look at yourself, please. I'm sorry. Let me get back to this point. Lowering standards. There is a brilliant book, brilliant author, Napoleon Hill. He authored a number of books, early 1900s or so. He wrote Think and Grow Rich, which is the more popular, more well-known book, but he also wrote Outwitting the Devil. In this book by Napoleon Hill, Outwitting the Devil, it's allegedly an interview with the oppositional force of goodness, right? The force that opposes goodness. So it's allegedly an interview with the mind of the devil. And in this, it reveals that the devil gets within man when man allows himself to drift. And it doesn't really go into detail about what that means, drift. Today, I was thinking more about that, drifting away from perfection, lowering our standards of what we'll accept and not accept in our lives, living with abusive relationships, living with self-destructive patterns. It's up to each of us to raise our own standards of ourselves. Chuck, that last one was for you.
Well, I know that my daughter was in an abusive relationship, and I went and got her out of it.
You live in the past, Chuck. You don't stay
wait
connected.
wait a minute. Talk about living in the past. You're the one that's accusing me of being mean to you, but yet you're living in the past.
Where did that come from, Chuck?
Came from just what you were talking about, living in the past.
Chuck, I thought you claimed you were here to understand me.
I am.
It appears again you're here to defend you.
No. You're coming into this with a bias.
Hey, Chuck, stop with the narratives or leave. Okay? You don't show willingness to want to learn from me, Chuck, and it's a missed opportunity. And frankly, I feel as though I've wasted a lot of time with you. Because what happens, I've noticed on these panels, I end up trying to resolve personal issues again. And really, I don't know what good it's offering.
One man to another man.
Chuck, you say things that have no relevance. Please.
What?
I'm sorry I interrupted. One man to another man. What were you saying?
I'm saying conversation. You win man over one at a time. But just to throw away somebody because
Chuck,
they disagree or don't.
who are you talking about? Please. You see,
I'm
you're
talking about
speaking
me and you. I'm talking about me and you.
Okay, how about can I try a different approach then?
Okay, I'm open.
We've been discussing and I've been battling your mind, your opinions. What does your heart tell you about me?
That you're a fellow man that has fallen in life, that might need a hand up to accomplish more. Not a hand out, but a hand up.
That's exactly correct. I agree with you fully. See, the truth comes from our heart. So that man who's praying and hoping for a hand up, is he delusional because he asks for help or because he's not been provided help? Is he delusional, Chuck? That's the narrative? I'm trying to understand you as you're trying to understand me, and one of us has been wrong about me.
That's your perspective. Each person has their own perspective.
Right,
It's
Chuck.
when it's
Chuck.
when we align
Hello,
perspectives.
hello. Yes, there's no reason we cannot align with the opinions of Jack. You are not the expert on Jack. You keep here, Chuck. Back to the topic of false narratives and lies. The individual, you're right, they're not lying if they don't know better. Okay. But people don't know what they've not learned, and they will not learn what they don't want to know. And Chuck, you haven't wanted to know how good Jack is. You've been focused on my failures, dude. Not only focused on my failures, you've been imagining failures worse than I ever fucking did.
No, that was only based on the information you provided.
No, Chuck, again, please consider you're wrong that it's not only based on the information I provided, because in the context of this conversation I just explained to you, you have not been trying to look for the good in me. Maybe I haven't verbally and publicly done that with you, Chuck. I've seen, but that's bullshit. I've done that. I've talked good about you, Chuck. I've talked about how generous I've seen you been. You're a great supporter of many people. Just sure, not me. You pay a membership, a small little finance seat. Chuck, another delusion.
I used to give you super chats, and then you called my money dirty. You didn't want my dirty money, so I quit super chatting.
Right. You're also blocked because you couldn't censor yourself. You couldn't find respect from me. You couldn't find respect for me. And therefore you couldn't share respect. But see, Chuck, this path I'm on, God is with me. I don't need your approval. And here's another character who thinks it's funny to mock Jack.
Hey, Jack, how's it going?
Why are you here?
I was wondering if you saw my video. Did you see it?
Hi, Hammerama.
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
Why are you here?
Just asking if you saw my video.
I saw you posted one.
Oh, okay.
I saw
What's it about?
to appreciate it.
Huh? You didn't appreciate
What's it about, Ham Banana?
Wow, you didn't watch it and you don't appreciate my art or my work? Jeez. Well, you're really ungrateful, Jack. I don't know why.
I'm mirroring you. I have less respect for Hand Banana than I do for Chuck.
Valid.
Excuse me, Chuck. Why would you actually do this?
What was that, Noel? I didn't hear you.
Why did you actually do this?
My audio, something. I missed what she said.
She's asking why you're here, essentially.
Because I love Jack. He's a fellow human being.
That deserves to be mocked by you?
King Stephen.
Chuck, do you believe fellow human beings deserve to be mocked? You know, ones that you're not directly related, you're not part of their life. You think it's appropriate to be on the outside of a human being's life and make fun of them?
Well, it depends.
Yeah, you make a lot of excuses for yourself, Chuck.
I'm not making excuses.
You have. And that's just what you're doing. So here's another character.
Thought you could erase the Mad Mystic, huh? You thought you guys could delete me. Mad Mystic 007 has receipts on Jackie Fox. Her donation.
What?
Oh.
The hell was that?
She's Hello, everyone. Mad Mystic.
You guys were asking what delusional is earlier.
There was some evidence of delusions. Absolutely. Someone who is so caught up in their head, they don't give a shit about anyone else. They just want to say what they want to say.
And it shapes their whole reality.
There's,
Sure.
guys, there is some insane people. Okay.
Yes.
Many of them are around us. Some of them are here and now with me.
Chuck.
Mm.
Chuck.
Thank you, Stephen.
More.
You're welcome. I'm not going to blame Dennison. He makes a hell of a deli sandwich, I've heard.
I
So
like the kitty. I like the kitty. I'm a kitty person.
Yeah.
I thought you were a hot dog person.
No, I got 4 kitties myself.
Jack, has Chuck been causing trouble again? That's why I came on, actually. I came on
No,
because
I am not causing trouble,
I
Stephen.
just caught the last few minutes and I saw that Chuck and Cam Banana were causing some problems. So
I really don't know Ham Banana.
For those who are cheering on that insane lady, number one, look at
Who was
look
that
at
lady?
yourself. Chuck, please look
I
at
didn't know
your.
who it was.
Would you shut up?
Good
shut
Lord.
up, Chuck.
Okay,
Chuck, please.
I'll mute.
You don't need to fucking announce. Fuck up, Chuck. Golly jeez. Brothers and sisters, here, I'm rounding myself back. Let me be calm again. But seriously, for those of you encouraging that insanity from Mystic, look at yourselves. What is wrong with you enabling that craziness?
Nah, you can't. Those people can't look at themselves. They can't.
I don't mind her, but I think she is crazier than a raccoon's breakfast. You know
Well,
what I
Yeah,
mean?
but some people revel in her madness, right? Because it's a
Yes.
way to alleviate their own. And
Are
Guys,
you talking
those-
about Chuck again?
here's here's the reality. I've heard bits and pieces she's shared publicly, her past stories, and I've seen not a lot, but I've heard enough and seen enough to know she's broken.
Oh no.
Okay? She's damaged, she's hurt inside, unhealed trauma, keeps the mind confused. And hey, actually, Stephen, I thought more about some yesterday's stream. And I know it was a joke, but comparing you to Paul, you said you'd rather die.
Yes,
Something like
I did say something like that. Yes,
Well,
I can see why.
I stand by that. By the way, I haven't changed my mind on that. But go ahead,
Sure.
Jack. What are your thoughts on that? You rethought things?
no, I encourage it. For anyone who wants to die, for anyone who's losing hope, realize it is within you. Don't lose hope. It's not the body that's ready to die. It is the mind. It is the
I'm not losing
belief.
hope, though, Jack. I don't want you to misrepresent. I'm very
No,
hopeful
no,
and
I
full
know.
of life. I'm full
Yes.
of life, but
I was kind of speaking to an audience in my head with that.
okay.
Because I know
okay.
there's a lot of people struggling in darkness, real thoughts of suicide. That stuff does come up in people. But the truth is, in my own experience, and I've been willing to die for so many times and so many reasons. I made it through because I changed my mind. Change your mind about what's important to you and realize we are all the same.
But is it not the power of God that helps us change our mind?
What is
Not just
relevant?
us. Well, I'm just saying it's not just us. It's a power greater than ourselves.
Okay. What is your point, Chuck?
I was just trying to add to the conversation.
How?
Why are you interjecting, Chuck? I don't understand. Like you know
Because
that
the
you
power,
aggravate Jack.
the
come
power
on.
out there is something greater than us. It
Chuck,
can do wonderful things.
Chuck.
You're talking over Jack, Chuck. Again.
Well, more importantly, Chuck, you have a pattern of not paying attention. You bring up these irrelevant thoughts, you deflect, you distract, you're really not present. And you say things. I know you're wanting to be part of the conversation. That's what you're used to. But Chuck, here's something I know. A mind of confusion is unable to explain its beliefs, not so that someone else can understand. And Chuck, you presented the case. I'm a reasonable man. You present facts to me in a way that I can understand. Fuck, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But Chuck, you call me delusional because of opinions of others and thoughts in your head.
Negative. I base my opinion upon the words that you speak. Your words, not other people's words.
Chuck.
Can I help out for a second? Chuck, I think you're here to bring patterns of disagreement again, which is your pattern.
No, I am not, Stephen. I am not. The power of God is for everybody.
Chuck, you keep saying things. You are not present. You're in your mind, in your ego, and it's really frustrating for me. Okay? I don't know what to do with you, Chuck. You say things, but you're not honest. You say things.
So God isn't real?
Chuck.
Is that what you're saying?
No, Chuck. That's not what I'm saying. Would you please pay attention to me?
Ask yourself a question, though, Chuck. Why would you say that? That right there, that's a good example. The other things you've said so far are not quite on the nose as that comment. Just let it go run through your mind for a second. You know that's not what Jack believes, right? You don't think he's an atheist, right?
I don't exactly know what Jack's.
But you think he thinks God is real, though, don't you, Chuck?
I'm not 100% sure.
Okay. Well, then I don't know what panel you've been on for the last longer than me. You know, you've been here longer than me. I just don't know.
Chuck has Alzheimer's. If that's the case, something's
I don't know how to help you with that, Chuck. That's I've always I get along with you fine. So I've always,
Yeah, I'm not
have so much bias against you. But Chuck, I can't.
You've lost.
You went beyond my ability to communicate with that one there. That is.
Hey,
man, God is different for each person.
Chuck.
Okay, sure, Chuck, but Jack believes in God. He's a devout Christian. He preaches God is the solution to mankind's problems, including war and famine.
He preaches love is the solution.
And Chuck, he equates that to God's will.
The Bible says several places, to know God is to know love is to know God, to know Christ is to know love. You call yourself a Christian, for God's sake.
I do not call myself a Christian. I'm spiritual.
Right. Okay, please forgive. I'm sorry. You're not a Christian. Clearly. I gave you far too much credit. I only assumed when you wanted to use the Bible against me that... But, Denizen, thank you sincerely. Chuck, I hope you can see. For you to question my belief in God, that's sign of your insanity.
It is kind of
Alzheimer's, though. To be fair,
it's kind of out of touch. And Chuck, if you're trying to argue with Jack's idea of God, do it directly.
No, I'm not trying to argue with
Well,
Well, if you disagree with it, state your case, make your claims. These weird things like you don't know if he believes in God is just unnecessarily confrontational, and it doesn't
sounded
lend
like trolling,
itself.
but I don't think it is. I
I'm
think
not
Chuck has
trolling.
lost his
I'm not
mind. I think he's
trolling.
lost his
Well,
damn
you're
mind.
sabotaging your conversation before you even get into it. Is what you're doing.
and here's
Well,
what
could be.
and here's what I heard from somebody that's professed for a long time that there is one God and he's God of all of us, just like I have. And then you turn around and question Jack and whether Jack's God is the same God by making a statement that we think of God differently. How do you know so? If in my sense, everybody saw God as the source of life and left it at that, would you need to expand upon it other than to simply relate to the scripture that says ye are gods? If you are from the source of life, and then you also are a source of life, does that not coincide? See, that's the thing about God. It comes to peace with the terms. Not because he uses the words, but the terms that are intended.
Well, El Perro, Chuck was questioning, saying he doesn't know if Jack believes in God at all. I mean, it was just random and out of left field. It was very strange.
That's what I was pointing out.
But do you think Chuck might be mentally ill or on drugs or something? Because he couldn't possibly be here that long and not understand that. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
I think.
Yeah, Chuck. Like, what did you actually mean by that? Sorry, Perry.
Please, thank you. That's a good question.
Yeah,
what did you mean by that question, Chuck?
God is the higher power.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
Right. Chuck,
He
I asked about you. See, this is what the ego does. The ego reacts and it moves and it doesn't really think. It has no clear intentions. It lives. We can live by reaction or we can live by intention. Faith, if you've got a clear intention, you're going to have faith with your purpose. You're going to move with purpose. Online, a lot of these live streams, it's a lot of people hanging out. They got time to entertain and whatever. But Chuck,
Are you saying you don't believe that God is that you don't think Jack believes God is a higher power? Like, how does that answer my question for you to say God is a higher power?
Because of Jack's belief that we are all God when we are not. We don't even come close to being God.
Again, just like I explained, we are children of God. And in that, children that we produce are of God. So the chain of power, the chain of source of life goes through us. We are all the same. That is what Jack is saying, in my opinion.
Thank you.
I think Chuck's deflecting, though, from the issue.
No, maybe I misunderstood what he was.
It does seem like
what
you look for a deliberate.
Makes sense.
Chuck, let me offer this. I've come to learn, okay? There is a paradox. It can confuse our minds when we choose one side or another, right? If you ignore one side of what is real, you're missing out on the other. So, Chuck, what I heard you say is a partial truth. We are not God. And yet, God is everything. So how can that be? If God is everything, I mean, there is an incredible, there's parasites, viruses, bacteria, there's blood, guts, there's all sorts of crap inside of me that's moving me. Pick something up, right? What makes the hand move the way that it moves? It's just thought, intention, the power of will. That is a divine gift. Our Creator, the creative force of life and goodness, has offered forth to us. We share in the divine will of God. We can edge God out with our thoughts. And Chuck, I encourage you to maybe reconsider some of your ideas on Jack, on God, religion, and government. Because the Father who sent Jesus to the world to become the king here on earth, to be the image of perfection for us all to embody, that same Father who sent Jesus to bring us this news sent us. I've been blessed to learn.
You know, Jack, it's interesting that you brought up parasites being in the body. You're probably aware that parasites can control sometimes insects and things like that. Maybe Chuck might have parasites because that can affect your thoughts. He might have to
No,
detox from parasites or something. This
I
is a
know
possibility, Chuck.
God removed things in my life. I did not remove them. God removed them.
No, I mean
That's how I
physical
know there is
parasites
a
in
God.
your intestines,
Yep.
and your blood. You might have parasites affecting your ability to think.
Maybe I
'Cause you're
got a
not thinking
brain worm. I got a brain worm, Stephen.
You
How
might
about
have a
that?
brain worm. You might have that.
Hey,
Will that work?
I'm sorry to interrupt, but thank you. Gazabil, you've been waiting in the back for a while, and I wasn't sure of you, but welcome.
Hello, everyone. How are you doing?
Feeling blessed.
Greetings.
Hello there, Gazabil.
Were you coming in with thoughts or just for participation?
No, I was just browsing and I was listening to the back and forth, so I just thought I'd join.
All right, appreciate it. We've got the wild card Mad Mystic in the back again.
Let's bring her on.
Let's see what the universe is revealing.
Yes.
Mystic.
Hey,
Oh my
how's
goodness.
it going?
Feeling blessed.
Whoa,
Hey,
what
Ronald.
is that?
Ronald is
Whoa,
dancing.
Is that snafu?
Whoa, it's the zebra and me. Yeah, why are we deflecting on your rape optics there, Jack? I'm just wondering, did you get a donation too?
Mad Mystic, did you know that Did you know that Jackie gave me $10,000 donation?
Whoa, shit.
Did you know that?
Yeah,
Well, why don't you share it, Stephen?
Hey, stay tuned for my 24-hour stream on receipts, Mad Mystic 007. Don't forget it. Mad Mystic 007, handle XXX. Look at me go.
Are you here to promote your what?
Triple X.
Chuck, do you need some
So,
dewormer? Ivermectin?
guys, here, I'm sorry. This is just fascinating. Do you see the selfishness?
That was interesting. That was
Yeah, the obvious
something else.
selfishness, self-promotion, no real care for even dialogue.
I've never seen her before except for here. Does she have a history? Mad Mystic? Is she?
I don't know who she is.
She's part of the Zebra crew with Snafu.
Oh, okay.
Can't you tell?
No, I thought she was just some interesting crazy lady.
Well, her and Snafu call themselves journalists, and they report to each other what they think, and then they gossip about what was reported to them. And it's like, what the fuck are they doing? The world is insane, guys. And seriously, it's up to each of us to align ourselves with what is real.
Yes. I thought you were going to say it's up to you to step it up, because I feel like I'm not insane enough now. I'm like, I can't compete with that. She stopped me on here. that was something.
Well, as I said, think there in our minds, God has blessed us all with the processes of logic and reasoning. And I've had the opportunity and the reasons to spend a lot of time thinking about things. There's a logical process. Why does a man or a woman become selfish? It's either miseducation or they feel unsafe. they feel like a victim. And a victim or a man or a woman who feels unsafe, man, they're fighting. They'll fight against the world.
Mhm.
And we live in this world where the victim and perpetrator, those are the egoic. So growing up, I didn't think I had an ego because I thought the ego were just like the narcissist type, the real bossy type. And I wasn't real bossy. I was angry and ashamed and all sorts of things, but I wasn't bossy. I didn't think. Holy shit. Yeah, I was.
Oh.
Oh, you
That
you
was,
had to be if you was a union president.
I was a dick. Oh my God.
oh my God.
But don't you have to have some
Praise
form of
God.
ego to be successful
You were
in
a
certain
Chuck.
fields?
As a union guy, I use the excuse of my yelling at bosses on the workroom floor. I use that as my excuse for yelling at the bosses on the workroom floor instead of in the back office was I wanted to educate everybody about what was wrong.
Yeah, I bet that went down well.
Well, I did.
Yeah.
I did educate everybody about what the hell was wrong. There was criminal actions happening. It was a bunch of bullshit.
Oh wow.
But hey,
What was some of the criminal actions?
false
Not the cupcakes though.
Abort.
lies. That's one thing, you know, I spent 20 years, 20 plus years, first the military and then the postal service. These positions, it's all regulation and rules and audits and inspections. That stuff I'm sorry. I lost track of where I was going. We had another guest show up too. Welcome, John.
Man,
There
his
he
future
is.
is so bright. He's got to wear 2 sets of
Hello.
glasses.
Hello, John.
Hey, how are you?
Can you see us?
I remember this guy. I've seen him on another panel.
Yeah, I can't.
Jack, why did the post office treat the vegan cupcakes like they might be bombs or something? Like, why would they be that paranoid? Were they kind of like the mob or a criminal racket that got
Good
so
question,
wrapped up? Yeah,
Steven.
it is a good question. I always wondered that.
The lady who did that to me was actually a friend for several years.
What turned her?
Her opinions, the rumors and the gossip and the lies about me.
Her livelihood too, I'm sure.
Her delusion.
Her livelihood too, I'm sure.
Do you think she wanted a promotion? Do you think she was trying to get ahead using?
Did your actions have anything to do with that? Just a question.
Why? Why are you asking that, Chuck?
Because I know when I turned people away from me when I was at the height of my.
I know. Okay, sorry.
Yeah,
Yep.
he turned
you. You want to make my story your story, where
Oh my God! I'm trying to relate, Jack.
Right. I'd rather you tried to fucking understand, Chuck.
How do you turn somebody away with cupcakes? Oh, I'm sorry. Their fear and delusion that it's some kind of bomb in the cupcakes. So who is that on, Chuck?
Well, considering the man got fired and was under investigation, there may have been apprehension.
Chuck,
do you know the circumstances?
Details.
Exactly. I've read his case. You people are delusional.
Even still, just getting fired is not a reason to think someone suddenly becomes a domestic terrorist overnight.
Chuck, are you suggesting that Jack was a cupcake terrorist? Is that what you're?
No.
He said Steven did that whole thing just to set up that fucking punchline.
That was the post office that set that up.
Chuck, remember
Yes.
our conversation about false narratives?
Yeah.
You're a very
I just
man.
I
Chuck.
just remember what you told me about the situation.
No, Chuck, you remember what you want to remember?
Negative.
Bullshit.
Chuck, you're disagreeing without understanding.
I noticed
Again,
a pattern. Chuck hasn't said yes once. He hasn't agreed. It's this whole time on the panel, it's always negative, no.
Is
The whole
that not
time.
my prerogative, Stephen?
right?
It is your prerogative, Chuck.
I'm
It's just
noticing the
indicative
pattern.
of your attitude and your
it's not-
intention for coming here.
My intention is not to kiss ass. My intention is to get to the truth.
You're very
Right,
disagreeable.
but by presenting false presentments, and this is much like bearing false witness, as if though
No,
Jack is the one
no.
that's delusional because the Postal Service said so. Who is the Postal Service? Is that your daddy?
No, I base it upon Jack's words of what
No,
happened.
you based it on the Postal Service and their
No, I
accusation.
did not. I base it on Jack's words.
You based it on the actions of the lady who accused them of having a bomb.
Negative. I
Yes.
based it on
You
Jack's
literally said it yourself.
story.
Negative.
You
You are
literally said it
negative and
yourself.
Disagreeable, Chuck. You're negative and disagreeable. I think
Oh
you're
my
jealous
God.
also over those vegan cupcakes because you didn't get any.
Well, be fair. This is a certain context. He's negative and confrontational when it comes to Jack.
Yes.
He's got a problem
No,
with
you
Jack.
you guys are.
He's
the
not
ones
like
being,
this all the time.
You are being negative, not me.
Chuck,
Deflection.
please. Okay, guys, please. Thank you sincerely. I appreciate you trying.
You're welcome, Jack.
Chuck, to see. Okay, Chuck, let's end the battles.
Okay.
Only you can end your battles against me. You initially, when you joined the panel, you claimed you were here to better understand me. Yet everything I've offered, you've offered disagreements. And there's several witnesses here who tried pointing that out to you, Chuck.
Well, my observation and opinion is based upon your.
And then, Chuck, your closed mind is not my problem, but I can help you with that.
Look at your life. My life and your life is two totally different.
Goodbye, Chuck.
Fuck Chuck. Fuck
At
Chuck.
least-
There's no helping Chuck.
At least for a little bit. I need a break from Chuck. I don't.
I like your jacket, John. That's a snazzy jacket. Let's just get it. Forget about Chuck.
Thanks. This was a family that are very nice to me. This was their son's kid's jacket. He's a huge kid now, but we were during the holidays. We were getting stuff out of storage, and so yeah, got a new jacket. Thanks for the compliment.
You're welcome.
Hey, John, I'm curious. What is FOAVC? You're co-founder of FOAVC. What is that?
Right. So we had that previous discussion earlier this year.
Oh yeah, John.
And, there's a lot of people that are not like us here on this call, in the sense that I guess for lack of a better term, we'll just call them normies. People that would never go and mix it up and chat and stuff on a online thing. And a lot of the normies are, they know that the country is off track, institutionalized corruption, etc. But there's this one provision in the Constitution that provides for a convention. And for years, everyone's always said, oh, my God, if we ever have a convention that's going to blow up the Constitution, let's not do that. But the scholarship of the last 10 years has really made it definitive that it's just a non-binding deliberative assembly. And so in the sense of what Jack mentioned early, talking about realness, you guys, this is the real situation right now. There are roughly 12 to 17 million Americans that want to have a convention, and they're in the tent of this group called Convention of States. So there's a national group right now. They're getting new members all the time. So we have a whole bunch of Americans who, wouldn't go to our level of understanding necessarily on, past mainstream narrative. But there's like 17 million Americans, and that's just in that group. There's unaffiliated people. There's probably another, 10 there. So there's like 20, 25 million Americans saying it's time for a convention. And so the New York Times just published an op-ed like about 7 days ago, all about the Article 5 convention. And they framed it as a constitutional convention, as if everything's up for grabs, as if we're there to rewrite the Constitution. But really, the truth is, the Article 5 convention, it's just a non-binding deliberative assembly with folks like us and others formally discussing the future. So
Right.
I just want to drop in and say, you guys could check the website, foavc.org. But just having it in mind, just knowing that there's other Americans that are ready to call bullshit on the status quo.
Hey, John, welcome to Here and Now. You are amongst the purpose of this live stream is not for the Article 5 convention. I'd forgotten that's what that was. The purpose of this live stream is not necessarily focused on the Article 5 convention, but the number one focus on this live stream, Chuck, please listen, is if you're around, number one purpose of this live stream is to encourage people to develop a personal relationship with God, with love. Because if we have faith in what is true, we can end wars, we can redesign the governments, we can redo the corporate system, we can redo everything.
Well, it's got to happen in a way that's satisfactory to the mainstream people.
Hey, John, right. Until we've had this conversation before, right? The idea of this Article 5 convention, this process in the system that will help right the system and bring in the oversight. How does that get accomplished?
Just by having enough Americans saying it's time for a convention.
So they do it without the Congress call? Because I thought our last conversation said that Congress would call for it, that it's already been brought up and it's hidden in some stupid committee under which I guess.
Yeah, that's a resolution. That's a resolution that's currently in the Judiciary Committee. But the people in the Beltway, all the K Street, the lobbyists, all the members of Congress, they know that it's been building. And the fact the New York Times just wrote an article about it to try and smear it means they know it's growing. And so they're trying to head it off. But, some people, Jack, a lot of people think that the Constitution is by divine providence, that God actually had a hand in getting us the Constitution.
John, you're taking us a bit off track here. Do you think that we should euthanize normies?
No, we should join the normies because that's where all the sovereign power is to break down the wall. So we should join them and saying, "Oh yeah, you guys want a convention? Let's do it." And then once we get a
with all due respect, you keep mentioning convention, but you're getting off track from salvation from self-sabotage, which is the focus of this live stream. You're kind of taking us off the beaten path.
Actually, I'm not.
What about God, John?
Actually,
what about God?
Actually, it's connected. We are beset with corporate domination of media, which gets every young person's mind spun out of control and away from God, etc. So if we have the convention, we knock down that, and then now the field is wide open for people to actually get close.
Hold on. Can I point out a major fault in that process?
That he trying to sell right now?
In my opinion, because in my opinion, again, if you look at the scriptures, if you are scriptural and you are spiritual, you will see that the main purpose in life, as I mentioned before, is we are a source of life. We give birth to the children. That is the priority. Why would you need to tear down a public education system to get to your children? Why don't you just teach your children?
All right, I got an answer for it. Let's quick go back to what the previous gentleman said, that I'm off topic about, how do we get closer to God? I'm saying the Article 5 convention is how you get a lot of people closer to God all of a sudden. So as far as tearing down a wall, it's tearing down the corporate wall. And I'm a state educator. I have a teaching credential here in California.
But again, I got a question. Why would you have to go through a corporate wall to get to God?
No, I'm saying if the people who care help break down the corporate wall, that helps everyone get closer to God, because now we're going to remove all the lies and bullshit.
It's a crazy sales pitch.
Yeah, again, you're posing that you got to break down a corporate wall that has to exist.
We're going in circles here.
It seems disrespectful.
Can we get back to Jack? John, you're kind of taking over a bit.
Who was that?
It's not intentional.
It was untrackable.
His intentions are good, and John, I appreciate you. I appreciate the information you've brought about the Constitution and such. I want to encourage you. Consider that, and consider the Constitution Committee, and what else can we do? Okay, how do we make that happen immediately? I suggest we use our connections, overcoming, personal connections. You know people I don't know. I know people you don't know, but people I know, they don't really talk to me. So let's go to you guys. You guys know people. You guys know people. And if we can get the conversations in the halls of Congress, that's where it happens. The masses, 350 million Americans, we've given all of this authority and legislative power of choice into one group in Washington, D.C. Let's get their attention.
That's a good point. And John, do you know people? Jack said that you know people. Do you actually know people?
No.
No? Okay. So you just came up here to shill for your own shit. Not thinking about Jack, the panel host.
Oh, damn.
It's a question. Yeah, you better get your glasses out, even thicker than whatever those are.
So who's
you might need another pair to see this shit coming.
Is that based Oracle that's saying that I'm
No, that was untrackable. I'm me though.
Okay, based Oracle. Okay, let me respond to that, all right?
No, I wasn't interested. It was rhetorical.
Okay.
I don't want to wear a suit and tie, so I'm not interested in a convention. I got to say, I'm more interested in coming up with solutions rather than these conventions. It seems political. It doesn't seem spiritual.
All right. Can I respond to that?
Sure,
No.
sure. Okay, don't.
So there's not conventions plural. There's just this one provision in the articles of the Constitution that provides for a non-binding deliberative assembly of all the people alive today. So when you talk about
California,
no,
he a Scientologist.
It's for all the states. It's for the states come together. So when you say you want solutions under the current law, that means you got to be working for an amendment. Otherwise, you're a barking dog saying things are wrong.
Well, that was wrong.
I'm not a barking dog, but
hey.
Okay, well, all right. Let me ask you this: What? All right, based on everything.
Yeah,
we
don't
know
respond. Just ask me something.
Based on everything today, what is the solution?
The solution is immediate reform. We get in front of the men and women who are serving in Congress and the United States government. We get in contact with Donald Trump, all the other people he's bringing in, and we tell them, hey, it's time for a fucking change.
But see, they're relying on them.
Don't interrupt, John. He's cooking.
People say it's time for a change, and they say,
hey, John, you're not really listening.
Oh,
what you're saying is exactly what I'm suggesting. We get in front of the men and women of Congress and we demand. It's the facts. It's not the popular. It's not the popular opinion.
John,
We
you're not
point
listening
to the facts.
Jack.
Wars can end, and the world becomes safer for everyone when secrets are no longer legal.
Okay, so in response to that, that's what I'm saying. The members of Congress are specifically not calling a convention, even though the states have already satisfied the clause.
Hey, John, is there any way you can divert your mind away from the convention for this period of conversation? Is that possible?
Come on, John.
I just dropped in. I dropped in to give you an update, and
John,
listening,
an unsolicited update at that.
John, just a word of advice here. You're being a Jehovah's Witness.
No
You're kind of knocking on Jack's door, pushing Jehovah Witnesses and the convention.
In Scientology, perhaps.
I've talked to Jack on the phone a number of times. He knows where I'm coming from.
We're on the same page. Unfortunately, though, my path, I've not been able to communicate with people effectively so they understand what is happening here with us.
The present.
I appreciate sharing. Yes, for those who are interested, it's FOAVC.org, right?
Yes.
Is the website for those who are interested in trying to be a part of bringing forth a process to get some oversight and reform into
Federal convention which causes a timeout on the bullshit.
Is it
Yep, for those who are interested, please. Thank you for the update, John. If anything happens and that really starts to come out, please.
You guys, hopefully 2025. But I guess I just want to drop in. I got another podcast I got to queue up for here. Thanks for having me on, Jack. And
I don't believe that.
When we talk, you don't believe that?
That was untrackable again.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Anyways, Jack.
Put your glasses back on, then you'll know.
Right. A little bit.
Are you done plugging, John? I'm feeling the disrespect. You come up on Jack's panel plugging your own shit. Are you on your own shit that you're about to go on that you said exist? Are you going to plug his? Are you going to plug Jack's stream?
Hey.
I didn't
write the Constitution, man.
The Constitution. You thought that applied here.
That's communism, though. You can't rewrite the Constitution.
He's a socialist.
You can add amendments to it, though.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Well, it'll take people.
He said, "Huh? What?"
I don't know
to
what
get
he's
things
saying.
done.
Yeah. Well, some people want to stay in a bubble while the house goes up in fire.
Hi,
Is that you?
John, how was your day?
What?
I'm back from the store.
And very excited to see you.
Yeah.
For once, John. John, would you give her free straws?
Free straws.
I got some free.
Yeah, in your new Utopia post Article 5 convention, I want to know what is the cost of straws going to be?
You know, if we had a convention, we would end up.
John would make paper straws, I think.
You guys,
would you euthanize lesbians?
He has a position on straws. Everybody, let him finish.
Check it out.
You're gonna plug again.
If we, in a natural progression of events, like let's just say the convention was called next week, right? So all the delegates come together, they start deliberating. In a natural progression of events from that deliberative assembly.
You're boring us. What about the straws?
He's boring. Steven.
What about the straws for Noel?
But you guys will hear about it more in the future. I'm going to go.
No, we won't.
Get primed up for the.
Did you just say free straws for everyone?
Paper. It's a trick.
The kind of conventions I like are where young ladies dress scantily clad as comic book characters. That's my kind of convention.
Yeah, get closer.
Noelle left again. She said she doesn't give a shit unless she gets free straws. I'll talk to you later.
Thank you for joining.
That was rude.
We're all in this together. We're all on the same side. Without realizing it, we all do want the same things. We all want a better world for each other because we deserve a better world.
Some of us want free straws, though.
Well, I don't know how we got to the straws.
It's true, though. It's true.
I do
Those
love
paper
you.
straws they give out at those are garbage. They just get wet and soggy. I can't stand those paper ones.
Soggy straw. He right.
They're terrible. Like that shows that America's gone downhill. It is. It's an insult to the masses. Damn it. Noelle knows what I mean. If she came back, she'd talk about it.
Hey, yes, thank you, Arpol. Peace to you, John. It is a tough crowd today. You guys,
we were honest.
You were definitely calling things out, and I appreciate it. This life we're living here, if I can.
We're only looking out for you, Jack.
I know. This idea of salvation from self-sabotage. There's a lot of wounded people in this world today. And the reality is every one of us on this panel, everyone in the chat, everyone who may tune in later, we're all carrying shit, right? We've all got problems in our head. There's things happening in our lives that, is this going to work out? Is that going to work out? Or we're dealing with losses and pains. I woke up this morning again, and really there's two choices each day. Well, there's one choice for me. The only choice I live is forward. Forward despite the problems. Forward with faith. That's the only way to live. And I started, my testimony is I spent much of my life without faith. I didn't understand what love truly was. I understood conditional love and I understood obedience.
Jack, I'm sorry, but I have a question. Do you have love for God the way that Noelle loves straws?
Probably.
Would you
more
say
so.
that it's close, or even more so?
I would say, are you going to talk in hypotheticals, or are you going to tell the truth?
Steven,
Yes,
can
Noelle?
you please stop talking about my straws?
I didn't know that was a delicate subject, but I will
Please stop,
try to.
Steven.
Okay.
Steven, stop.
Thank you. Untrackable. What were you asking?
Yes, I was going to say, are you going to talk in the hypotheticals in your pain, in your truth, or are you going to tell what's really going on? Because I'm willing to do it, but I'm not willing to do it with it's going to be a half-assed motherfucker. You know what I mean?
What's going on, Untrackable? Like, can you be specific?
Well, I mean, if I'm dealing with somebody that's gonna be a half-ass,
I think you've been drinking because you're not making sense.
Does it not make sense for me to,
doesn't make much sense what you said so
I
far.
think of myself more of like a 5/8 ass.
That's 62.5%.
What was I talking
Was it
about
called
you?
three
Because
quarters?
if you have a problem, tell
I
the
don't know who
truth.
the fuck you're talking about.
No one knows what you're talking about, Untrackable.
Would they say like the
In his defense, I don't know what he's talking about.
3/5.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. What I think, what I came up from what he was saying is being honest, being truthful, being one with what is true, what is right, what is accurate.
Excuse me, Jack.
But he also said you're half-assing it, Jack. So I don't know why he said that.
I don't know. Noelle, were you saying something?
Yes, I am so glad that you and Margot get along.
Oh,
I'm
that's
grateful
sweet.
as well. Hey, I want to get along with everybody. This is truly what I found.
What about Chuck?
Even Chuck, I would love to get along with Chuck. And
Except
I would even humbly offer my apologies for my reactions. And I
don't think you should.
If you stop caring what he thinks about you, it
Base
would help.
article. why you didn't let me on your panel?
He doesn't like you.
That's a good question. I'm gonna let Untrackable answer it.
Hey, everyone is free to choose, and regarding Chuck, I would love. Someone said I could stop caring about his opinion, something like that. And that's absolutely true. It's my expectation. It's my hope that brings my frustration. And it's been pointed out, I'm working and improving. I'm trying not to get frustrated with people, but holy cows, man.
I don't think any of us should care about Chuck's opinion. I really think he's senile. I think he's senile. I think he's just lost it.
He's a good man. He's a good-hearted man.
I don't wish him harm, but
there's some kind of form of passive aggressiveness when he gets around Jack. I'm not sure what it is or where it comes from. I think there's more to the relationship there though than meets the eye. I think there's some real disappointment on Chuck's part, and he because he deliberately talks in riddles and and nonsense statements that are looking to be antagonistic for no other reason than to be
like
antagonistic.
Santa. He's like a senile Santa. He's just in riddles, and he's
like
a strange character.
But a mad Santa, like he's pissed off at Christmas.
It's a pattern that I have faced. Chuck is one of many. I mean, it's been public. I've got many people who they claim to be experts on me and claim that I'm completely wrong. But you know what? What I've learned, back to the idea of God. God is the unity and truth. If we are not aligned with truth, we're delusional. We're living in fantasy. If we're not aligned with unity, we're confused. We've created divisions in our mind. The differences between us make no difference.
A difference without a distinguishment without a difference. Something like that.
Yeah. We're unique. Every one of us, male, female, different colors, different languages, we're all unique. And yet, there's a consistency that's between all of us. We are all of the same God, with the same God, for the same God, and there's only one purpose for God.
Love.
That's what I found for myself.
To control the masses.
Well, that might be religion, but that's not God. I mean,
God creates
Good point.
freedom.
Exactly. Good point.
And this is what I realized. It's up to each of us to claim our independence, to claim our freedom. But you got to have faith to be independent, to be free. Either faith or you got to be strong as hell. There's a lot of strong people I've met. The faith comes from allowing yourself to be weak. Because if you don't allow yourself to feel weak,
right.
if you don't allow yourself to feel vulnerable, then what are you doing?
You're missing out a lot. You're missing out on an entire different realm of life. But
It is. It is. There is truth in the scripture. As we humble ourselves within us, saying, okay, Jack, Chuck irritates me. Doesn't matter. Chuck is going to be Chuck. Jack, you need to be comfortable if Chuck's around.
Fuck Chuck.
It's my opinion. No, it's just like his opinions are moving him. My opinions are moving me. My frustration is what I'm pointing at.
Yes.
When we're
I'm
able
hungry for straws now. I don't know what.
When we are able to stay present, grounded into the being, because God is If something is, it is being. It is through the isness that we get to be.
I love that. Through the isness. The
It
isness.
is.
Oh my gosh. Holy cows, man. It's through the isness. That's something.
Stephen, that's what I humbled myself.
Mm-hmm.
That which is. I have to be comfortable with that which is. And I have to be prepared for that which is. But I need do nothing. And when I realize that, I don't have to do anything except that which my heart leads me to do. Because I truly trust and believe that the God who created the universe and is with us, that God wants us to know love, that God wants us to know happiness and joy and peace. And it's actually this stuff. It's the Holy Spirit,
Jack,
the fruit of the Spirit.
Jack, you ever seen?
I would ask you, can you swim?
Huh?
What?
Can you swim?
Yes.
I can, yeah.
I'm only 4.4%. Yeah.
I'm a proficient swimmer.
Have you seen the movie? Have you seen the movie The Devil's Attorney? Or The Devil's Advocate? Have you seen that movie?
Attorney?
Yeah, yeah, I've seen it. Your volume's low, though.
The Devil's
Keanu Reeves. It's a good thing. Don't tell him.
It's Keanu Reeves. It's who else?
Al Pacino. Keanu Reeves.
Reeves.
Yeah, that's it.
Al Pacino. There's a really good monologue at the end of it, and he talks about God.
Yes. God's a
Let me
bastard.
see if I can look it up because I'm forgetting.
Yeah, all the evil shit.
It's
Is that what you're saying?
He's
trying
just
to
got an
distract?
interesting perspective.
Thank you.
Monologue. Sounds like you are.
He is. The
I want
to
to have it back on track for Jack. That all rhymed.
No, you're right. Excuse me.
Yeah. Holy cows.
There's the actual can you swim, and then there's the metaphorical can you swim.
You're swimming in a bottle,
so
brother.
the saying.
How do you metaphorically
The
swim?
quote is. The quote is, who are you carrying all those bricks for anyways? God, is that it? God, well, I tell you. Let me give you a little inside information about God. God likes to watch. He's a prankster. Think about it. He gives man instincts. He gives you this extraordinary gift, and what does he do? I swear, for his own amusement, his own private cosmic gag reel, he sets the rules in opposition. It's the goof of all time. Look, but don't touch. Touch, but don't taste. Taste, but don't swallow.
Whoa.
And while you're jumping on one foot to the next, what is he doing? He's laughing his sick fucking ass off. He's a sadist. He's an absentee landlord.
God is telling you to
Worship
swallow.
that. Better to reign in hell than to serve in heaven. Is that it?
Amen.
Is that Milton or Dante? I'm trying to remember.
I'm not saying I believe in any of that. I just think it's an interesting.
You brought it up
statement,
because you're
monologue.
leaning that direction, though. You're kind of satanic. It's okay, brother.
I am.
No, it's very.
I wouldn't say so.
It's very thought provoking. It woke my ass up from my research here.
It kind of puts up the question: are you okay? Or you are not okay?
If God is the Father, then Satan must be our cousin.
Do you swim untrackable?
How about this?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I swim every day.
Swam.
Let Jeff talk.
Sorry.
Hashtag let Jack talk.
Hey, I love you guys. Thank you. That idea of God being a prankster, I've considered the possibility that God has an incredible sense of humor.
Yeah, but the joke's on us.
Yes, we are the joke.
Right. Yeah.
Take life Take the future seriously, but take life as a joke. Don't take yourself so seriously. Take the truth seriously, but don't take your thoughts seriously.
Is it wrong to laugh at ourselves and to laugh at God? Is that okay, or would that be? I mean, I laugh at God sometimes. I just burst out laughing like that was hilarious. That trick that was pulled. You know what I'm saying?
I encourage you to make sure there's gratitude with the laughter.
Jack, you always doubt me with that. You always think that I don't have gratitude in life. What is it? What is that about? Where you kind of assume that I don't have gratitude
because you don't thank Jack enough.
I think, well, no, that's actually
I do every day.
Wrong, but no, there's other signs, but our comfort zones. I got this from church today. This reminder: good enough. It is the enemy of the best.
Yeah.
A good example is unhealthy relationships, codependent relationships where there's, constantly victim perpetrator nonsense. When people, and I did this, I settled into those codependent relationships in the past. And it wasn't until I broke away that I realized, hey, every day that I settled for good enough, I was denying myself and her the opportunity to discover better. We got to be honest with ourselves and honest about the life we're living, and check in often. Check in to make sure you're present, to make sure you're on your path, living the way that you want to remember yourself. And then check in on your own standards. How am I doing? When I finally saw similarities between me and Jesus, I humbled myself and I saw I'd lived a life of shame. I got on my knees. I was ashamed. I cried. I processed all the anger and all those unsettling things. And that's when I allowed my ego to die. When my shame and my guilt and my finally became honest to myself with the way I was living, I chose to surrender. And I've been learning how to surrender, guys. I want you to believe we're coming up on a new year. 2025 is going to be fucking great.
I'm sorry, Jack, but
excuse me.
You don't get to tell your story when you're gone.
Your story remains. Your story
it will only be those that are left behind you that will get to tell your story.
Correct. Based on the evidence we leave.
Jack knows that already, though. You're stating the obvious, Stinky. I mean, untrackable. Sorry.
Oh, well, the other part.
Oh, hey, it stays the same for you as well. When you are no longer, it will be those that are left behind that will tell the things about you that they have witnessed about you.
Are you saying that about me?
Yeah,
They'll
I'm saying
blushing
that about everybody.
I'm a king. They'll be blushing when they tell stories about me.
Does he mean gossip?
There's a lot of crazy stuff.
Those who still have breath in their lungs will tell the story of you.
I know.
Here's the thing. What Untrackable is saying is true. The stories of us, what we say fades into pretty much nothing while we're alive, but what we do will be echoed down the hollows of time for eternity. How we live our life is going to affect the world we live in, and all those who know us. And we are responsible for what others may receive from us. We can't control the stories that people tell about us, but we can control what we offer to them for them to see. and untrackable, where I was suggesting with the story, our lives daily, we live with stories in our head, stories about what our life means, what the world means. These, when I'm saying live a life, so you don't live the story of your life that you want to remember. If you see an opportunity to make an improvement in your life, you see an opportunity to serve another human, do it. Don't hold yourself back. Because as soon as you do what's good, what's right, the chemicals inside, man, they start making you feel all good.
Do you think that Untrackables, I was agreeing with him, but do you think he's being honest, or do you think he is trackable? I think that the government could probably track him down. I don't think he's untrackable for real. I think he's kind of fronting a little bit with that. But I was agreeing, there will be people telling stories about me. They will be blushing because there's a lot of wild, crazy shit that I've done in my life. So that when they tell stories about me after I'm gone, I'm sure there will be some ladies blushing and stuff like that. If you know what I'm saying.
And that goes to the aspect of the oral history that used to be told generation after generation. Do we really do that? History. Yeah. Do we sit down with our children or our grandchildren and tell them our story?
Yeah. Well, I don't know about oral. I mean, oral stories. That sounds a little bit naughty.
When it comes to oral, I'm going to be a legend when I'm gone.
El Perro, you sound kind of like a dirty old man telling that, but you know what I'm saying?
Ken Steven.
Noel.
I heard that you were talking to Margot this few days ago.
Yeah. Yes, Margot she's a very sweet lady, and
yes,
she was flirting. She was flirting with me, and
Margot and King Stephen. You should ask her out.
I have a girlfriend, though. I can't ask her out, Noel. I have a girlfriend, and I have a harem of women, so there's only so much time that I have. I have stamina, but I'm getting up there in years. Sorry, Jack?
I have a feeling Margot is happy with her path. I don't remember if she has a relationship or not anymore, but
do you think she's smitten with me, though, Jack?
I wouldn't say that. Stephen, you're
Are all the ladies here smitten with me, Jack? Do you think they all have a crush on me? Is that a possibility?
I'm quite confident that the objective reality is not quite the way you describe it.
Interesting. Well, we all have our different views.
Yes, you're right. But here, if we don't look at the totality, if we only look for things that prove us right, we reveal our ignorance, our stupidity.
I think Denizen's kitten loves me, though. I really do. Like when I look over there, I think Denizen's kitten really loves me.
It's a nice kitten. 2025 model. Warranty.
I make the kitties purr.
And Stephen, you ignore a lot.
What am I ignoring? I'm present. I'm right here.
You're ignoring the things you'll feel guilty of. You're ignoring the things you will feel shame for.
I don't feel, see that, I think, Jack, that's the crux of the issue. You assume that I'll feel guilty and shameful the way that you once did, but I don't think I will.
Your denial is strong, Stephen.
I'm not in denial. I'm very content with who I am and what I am. And
I know, Stephen. And I love you, my brother. I love all of you. Something I've noticed, I've been paying attention to the patterns of my life, and I've met many men and women who are comfortable with how they are. I know there's a better life for you, Stephen.
I'm in love with myself, though, Jack.
I know. I know you love yourself despite everything you've done, and that's wonderful.
If I could make out with myself, I would right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. They're actually
That's
speaking
gay.
some truth in the
Yeah,
chat
that would
room.
be
They're
gay.
saying Stephen is smitten with himself.
That's
I
self-centered.
I have a crush. No, not self-centered. I wouldn't go that far. I have a
No, it
crush
is,
on
though.
myself. Though.
Right,
You think
but
that's self-centered to love oneself?
No,
But
but the
God
way
wants
you
us to
do
love
it,
ourselves, doesn't He?
Stephen.
Yeah, but God doesn't want you to love yourself.
Yeah, not in a
I'm
gay
in
way.
love.
Jack,
I'm
how
in
could
love.
Stephen, in your opinion, how could he get
Oh.
salvation from self-sabotage?
I'm not sabotaging myself.
I'm not saying you are, but Jack had a
Okay.
point, and I'm just curious what he would.
I'd love to hear it.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
That question
That's
places
my gratitude.
for me to answer. I have to be honest, and admittedly, I have not looked at your what you share for a while, Stephen.
I know.
But I have. When I did look in, I was seeing a lot of negativity. And a true king doesn't walk around disrespecting others. He has no reason for that.
I'm laughing all the time. I'm not negative. I'm very upbeat and
I know.
And
I'm
you positive.
find reasons. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You entertain yourself and others. You've said that.
Yes.
To answer the question though, what would I encourage for everyone to break your patterns of holding yourself back? Become more grateful for everything you have. Start.
I'm grateful.
On appreciation.
I'm grateful to be here. I appreciate being here. I'm blowing kisses to the audience, to the chat room. I'm very happy to be here today, and I couldn't love myself more, but I still have some love left over for everyone else as well.
And herpes.
No, I don't love that. I wouldn't. Sorry, Jack?
Herpes?
Oh, I may be reading too much.
Al, Pedro, I have a question for you. Why did she tell me to
That
not
was a good
let
question.
Margo to be my mom? You told me that.
She's not your mom.
She is.
Okay.
She is my YouTube mom.
There we go.
That was on topic, at least.
Hey,
I hope El Pero's not your YouTube dad. I
No,
hope not.
Hey,
of course
Okay.
not.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No.
We are a community who is helping to raise each other. Because some people's parents didn't do a great job with their children.
That's true.
We saw Mad Mystic, and we've had several swing through over the time.
Jack, who's your daddy? If Noelle has a YouTube mom, who's your daddy, Jack? Do you have a YouTube daddy, or is there something wrong with that, or is that you said we have a family on here? So
I said we have a community.
Community. Sorry, I thought it heard family.
It implies the same thing, similar thing. I mean, we are one family of humanity gathering each day and sharing time together.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
It's
sorry,
me.
I lost the question.
I'm your real dad.
Oh, the dad.
And Untrackable is my little cousin.
There are several men younger than me, older than me, that I've discovered online who I truly admire. I mean, I talk about them on
Thank
these
you,
lives.
Jack. I'm older, and I do appreciate
No,
that.
you're not that I actually promote, Stephen. Not yet. It could happen. It could change, but
It will happen eventually. You will come around, I think.
who do you admire, Stephen?
More than myself?
Mhm.
Is that the
Besides
question?
you. Yeah,
Besides
besides
me? That's a tough question. Who do I admire besides me? Perhaps the first Saint Stephen. one that spoke up in the Bible, the proto martyr, the first saint Stephen. That's who I was named after. He spoke against a crowd of morons, and they ended up killing him. An angry crowd, a mob of them, stoned him to death in the street because he had a sharp tongue. He was very quick-witted and sharp-tongued, and he knew that he was speaking the truth against all the naysayers, and he riled them up, you might say, and they got very angry and they killed him. That's who I was named after. That's who my mom named me after. She could foresee that one day I would rile up the world, and the world would come after me as an angry mob and try to murder me.
Okay, so who do you admire today? Because you never met that Saint Stephen.
I only met him in visions. I didn't meet him in the flesh in person, but and reading about him and studying. I studied a lot of Christianity when I was younger. But who would I
besides
admire?
me, because that's too easy.
I would say I admire my girlfriend because of her loyalty and just the feminine way that she is. She cares for me even when I wouldn't say I'm selfish. I'm actually very giving. I'm very caring. Outside of YouTube, I'm very, very generous and caring and kind. And she loves me for who I am. So I admire her also for she has a really nice ass as well. So she's very curvy. She has an hourglass.
Stephen.
Yeah. Nice.
Yes.
Admirable.
Well, I admire her figure.
I know. I hear your narratives.
It's honest, Jack.
You know that kind of comes up as a personal thing for me. It's like
the curve.
Yeah, what about his curves?
You're not my girlfriend. What are you talking about? Untrackable.
Wow, I guess he's lost that loving feeling.
What I heard from you, Stephen, and please,
Sure, Jack. I'm interested in hearing what you have to say. What did you hear?
You admire those who reinforce your perceptions of you.
Yeah, I heard I admire people who do for me, because she's loyal to me, and I like her ass.
Curvy.
Mm-hmm. So again,
there's nothing aspirational or transcendent in your
or
your choice.
Asperger's. None of that.
I love the way that she admires me. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right. And Stephen, as I pointed out previously, you show a lot of symptoms of being very self-centered.
She basically worships me. She worships the ground I walk on.
What
were you saying?
Right.
Oh, Jack, you don't. But you asked the question, who do I admire? So I answered honestly. You got to give me credit for that.
I do.
Okay.
But please receive my honest feedback and consider what I heard from you. Mm-hmm. You're self-centered. And so what causes someone to be self-centered? To be selfish. And I know there's signs that show you're not selfish, but Stephen, there's something unique happening with me. I haven't really found your generosity doesn't really stand out to me so far. Okay. So I'm sure you have, just like
I
Chuck.
mentioned that last night, actually.
Excuse me, Jack.
Oh yeah.
Jack. True for Nerd Cop is.
That was a good story.
True for Nerd Cop is doing this to your channel.
Is he restreaming?
Yes.
Well, hey, blessings to anyone catching this. Make sure and hit.
Noella Snitch.
Who is that? Can you tell me who that is?
Does it not make sense to be selfish when you are trying to be good to others? Because if you're trying to be good to others, the best thing you could do is be honest with yourself and truthful to yourself and do the best that you can do, because you are useless to anybody else. unless you are doing right by yourself.
Yes,
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that actually makes sense.
I agree with him. I think him and Noelle would make a good couple.
No, I have a boyfriend.
It's partially true. There's no denying what you said.
The partial truth?
Well, let's consider the other side of it.
Okay.
What was not said? What's the opposite of that? The opposite of that is truly we are service to others when we serve others. To serve
But Jack,
others,
I
yes,
don't need to boast about. I gave to homeless bums before Christmas. I gave money to homeless shelters, to a food bank. I don't need to boast about all my generosity on here. I just do it
But
quietly.
you just did.
I just do it quietly. I never talk about it. I just do it.
But you just talked about it.
I just do it completely quietly. So,
okay.
You said that you don't see my generosity, but
right.
I mean, sometimes I've thrown money out the window at homeless people.
Congratulations.
There's such a thing as generosity of spirit too. And if you're a trillionaire, throwing dollars out the window isn't the same as generosity.
You should have shot him through a Nerf gun if you were polite.
if you've got like 50 pounds of rice in your kitchen and you're tripping over bags of rice and you can't even get to the cupboards because you have so much rice. Giving some rice away doesn't really make you generous, right?
Well, they weren't all dollar bills, Denizen. I mean, there were some 20s and 50s in there. I didn't just toss some dollars, but
sprinkled them in.
Okay.
I made it rain money.
Stephen, again, what's in your mind isn't always in the experience. And I stand by my words because I'm not even if it wasn't, even without money, I've seen your self-centered side. Not so much
trying to help others, though. Have you not
yes,
noticed?
I have seen that, especially around me. Thank you, Stephen. You are right. I have
been trying. I've been trying to improve.
I know you have, and I appreciate it too. Thank you.
See, the thing is, I've lived a privileged life. A life of privilege and leisure, and I'm used to being treated like a king. So it is difficult sometimes to be around peasants and relate and try to not be self-centered and selfish. And
hey,
that's a nice way of putting it.
I love what you said because you're right. You've lived a different life than me. Right?
Yes.
I grew up I know poverty. I know hard work because I started working when I was 13 years old, man. We've lived different lives. And Stephen, I know there's a greater future available to you. If you take your resources and what you've acquired in your life, your knowledge, your abundance, there's opportunities for you to do some incredible good.
Mm-hmm.
He could send a super chat. That'd be nice.
I might give some money so they drill some water wells in Africa for the Negroes, because I saw on a program that they don't have any water, fresh water, and they have to go and walk miles to get it and carry it on their heads and all this kind of stuff. And it actually touched me. I thought to myself, I've never had to do that. And I couldn't believe that people do that.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Are you talking about charity water?
Does it not mean so much that you do so well for yourself that it's on others to gravitate towards you? If you have water and you have fire and you have food, if they don't come to you, whose fault is it there?
Yeah, you're right. They should be coming to me.
Made it up, dude. You're the one who made it up, so you tell us.
No, I believe that to be true. If I
imagine the scenario,
if I have warmth and you want warmth, is it your fault that you didn't come to my warmth? If I have food, is it your fault? My fault that you didn't come to my food?
No, it's not your fault. It's their fault. You're right.
Is it my fault that you did not come to clean water? Whose fault is it that you didn't
untrackable
towards
that's
what
a question.
Right?
Please keep considering it.
But is he asking
I
me?
encourage you if you have fire, you have food, you have water, and you know of others who do not, if you don't at least let them know that, hey, maybe I can help. Is it their fault they don't know that you might be a source of support? Is it someone's fault they don't know what they don't know? And Stephen, what you brought up, that organization, I'm sure there's many, but I learned of Charity Water.
Charity Water? Yeah. I've been looking into that. To answer Untrackable's question, I think it was directed at me. I'm not sure because he didn't name me. But if they don't have water, I'm just seeing that they don't. I'm just realizing it now. I didn't realize that they didn't have that. So I'm starting to wake up in the process of seeing what's going on in this world. And I don't have a stockpile of water, but I have money. So I have a resource where I can pay people to drill wells and put them in these villages where they don't have them. So
can I Charity Water? I felt that same experience I just heard from you, Stephen. When I saw some of the stories of how human beings are living these days, right? This modern age where there's villages and men and women, they don't even have access to clean water.
Yeah.
What the fuck are we doing?
I didn't realize it. I wasn't
either.
aware. I didn't know. So in 2024, almost 2025 current year, they don't have any clean water. They're going like to rivers and
Stephen
carrying water. It's weird.
That was Stephen, to be honest, this was part of my dream. When God allowed me to start thinking of success and I found registered in the idea of live without fear, I envisioned making money. I thought I would be able to collaborate and grow and really merchandise and market. And I thought I would make some money with these investments on Live Without Fear. And my prayer was to anything I was going to make was going to go to Charity Water, to these other organizations, these people that are really helping people. I don't care about money. I care about people.
Yes. And I'm starting my journey of getting there, of opening up to seeing what's really going on in this world. I didn't even know till this year that there's poor white people in America. Like in Appalachia. I didn't like Appalachia, the mountains, like the real poor, super poor whites, like that live in shacks and stuff. I didn't know that was still going on in this year.
You can't help anybody that's not willing to help themselves, because you could give somebody the world and they're just going to burn it down if they're not about living.
Okay. And what's the other side of that?
What's the other side of it is, hey, they're going to take what you give them.
Mm-hmm.
You lost me on that.
And
they're going to burn what down? They're going to burn the cities down? Is that what you're saying?
He's saying people will be ungrateful and they won't really care about what the support.
But he doesn't mean they'll literally burn like Black Lives Matters or something. You're not saying that like a racist.
Here's something I've learned through my personal experience, and it's the truth of Jesus as well. We are all at the mercy of God, the mercy of the world around us. Every one of us is.
Jack, I'm trying to be more humble here, and I'm trying to listen to people's perspectives, including yours, and talking about these issues. I was talking with a friend like 2 years ago, and I said to her, and she laughed at me actually, because I said something about, I don't know why there's so many flies in Africa. And she goes, what do you mean? And I said, well, I always grew up, if I saw a commercial, they showed like flies on these children in Africa. And I thought there were more flies there. And she said, no, that's because they're starving and they didn't have the energy to these Negro children to wipe the flies away or swat them. And I thought there was just more flies there, and that flies really like going on Black people. And she's like, no, Stephen. And she made fun of me actually for a couple of years after that, because she's like, you don't realize what you're talking about. But I didn't know. I was like so sheltered.
Right.
And I mean, that's not my fault that my parents, you know, I was raised in a wealthy
like a
family.
fucking
So
faggot nigger troll, pretty much. I'm like tired of you.
Well,
You're like a retard.
a
Here,
what?
please,
Faggot
No
nigger?
offense.
What?
No offense.
Your fault.
What did he say?
I'm kind of over it.
I think he
You're
likes
you're
you.
like a complete idiot. Really.
Here.
No offense.
Actually,
That
please,
guy's a bitch.
please.
It
I
will
lost my
always be
credit.
your fault. But
I'm actually thinking.
At what point do you do what you feel like you feel necessary to do?
What?
What are you
I
untrackable?
know, dude, I'm tired of hearing this guy.
Dude, you are not
He's
here.
making the best
man.
comments
over
here
it.
today.
You're a fucking idiot, dude. You're
That-
like an
that-
idiot.
that's
Whoever
Don't
this
call
guy,
me a
whatever,
fucking
you're an
idiot. What do you? And don't call him
I'm like
that.
over it, actually.
You're over
that's
what?
okay.
I'll be like rude. I'll be rude.
Larry,
I
but
won't use
at what point
fucking.
is it not
What are you
your
triggered
fault
over?
to
I'm not gonna use platitudes.
That's
feel like
offensive.
you
I'm gonna start cleaning this out.
I'm
Thank
here
you.
opening up about my experience and
Steven,
trying to.
Steven.
Sorry, go ahead.
Steven, thank you.
Okay.
We're over the 2-hour mark. I'm ready to start
Okay.
wrapping up. I put you guys in the back because it just seemed to be going south. Thank you all for joining. Any parting words on your way out?
Be blessed, Jack.
Thank you, brother. You
Bless
as well.
everyone, and I want to say bless everyone. And I don't think that guy saying the N word was appropriate. That was
Yeah.
crossing the line. That that was. Don't do that on panels, everybody. That's really going too far.
Understand.
That is racist.
Yep. Understand. No denying it.
Thank you for having me up, Jack. Oh, go on.
No, that was it. Thank you, Based. Appreciate. Unless you got more.
No, I'm just gonna say it was an interesting stream, and we'll see you around. Thanks.
Blessings to you, Denizen. Thank you as usual. You Based. Many of you have developed the ability to communicate, and I pay attention. You guys have been good examples for me. Are you there?
Yeah, I came up to talk about God and the government, but that kind of got derailed. Maybe next time.
Please, that's a topic we should discuss more. Sincerely.
Yeah, I was going to challenge Chuck's ideas about Christ and God. But anyways, I'll see you later, Jack.
Much love to you, sincerely. To all who clicked the link, joined, to all who tuned in, whether here, Truth or Cop, another restream, if you find this, go ahead, do the subscribe to old Jack Talcott. Just pull the trigger. We'll see what the future brings on that. There was something else too. And if you would, sure, it doesn't cost nothing. Just stroke the thumb. We'll see what the future brings. Oh, you know what? I'm going to actually set this up. Maybe I should have done this before everyone left. What did I do? Oh, I closed it out. No, I guess I'm not. I'll fix this later. Brothers and sisters, sincerely, salvation from self-sabotage. Only you can save yourself. Only you can grow in your faith. Only you can grow in your hope. Only you can grow in your love. Only you can grow. But all growth, all love, all goodness, it is by the grace of God. So truly, humble you so that you can feel the grace of God, to know the blessings are with you. The blessings of life are for you. This whole world was created for you and I to discover. Man, I'm just remembering some of the ideas I was going to talk about, and maybe I'll save them for tomorrow. Brothers and sisters, thank you again to all who tuned in, and we'll see what the future brings for us all. Till next time, choose love, peace for everyone, and live without fear. Thank you again, and God bless us all.